Good evening, everybody watching wherever you may be. I am Jarrett Smith, the play-by-play announcer for the Fresno Athletics, and we are glad to be back to give you some baseball action. We have a two-game stand here at home against the Reading Colt 45's, and then after that, we will be on the road for the first time this year, going up to the west or northern coast of California to take on the Humboldt Crabs. But let's focus on this series and today's game. First evening game for the Athletics, and we'll certainly take it because air temp might be hot, but in the shade right now, it's feeling a lot better. But it'll be interesting to watch. We got the shadow line going right in front of home plate, so we will see if that plays an effect on the batters as it creeps further and further in between the pitcher and the batter. Anyways, taking a look at the Fresno A's lineup today, batting leadoff is George Smith at shortstop. Second, Ethan Wood at first base. Hayes Edens will be at catcher. He's batting third. Luke Navad batting cleanup at third base. Mikey Ramirez, the left fielder, he'll be fifth. Parker Crystal will be DHing for the Athletics today. Luke Reed will be in right field, and we have two new additions to the lineup that just got here. It's going to be Brian Sanders II at second base and Tyson Miller in center field. And taking the bump is Jared Sawyer, Stanislaus State product. This is his second start of the season, and we are ready to roll here with Rogowski batting for the Colt 45's. First pitch on the way looked to be a two-seamer. He chops it foul right into Eden's lap. Foul ball, 0-1. Definitely a little more people here in the stands today, which is very nice to see. Even some Reading fans making the trip down here, so shout out to them for that. Pitch number two of this at-bat looked to be off speed and called strike. Rogowski quickly 0-2. Woo! Jared Sawyer misses up and in. Almost got Rogowski in the helmet, but he ducked out of the way just in time. 1-2. 1-2 pitch on the way is hit out to right field. Luke Reed trying to make the run on it. It bounces past him. He went for a diving attempt. It goes past him. This might be three bases for Rogowski. Throw coming in to the second baseman Sanders, and Rogowski has himself a stand-up triple to start off this ball game. Sari went all out for it on that play, but just bounced right in front of him and got past him. So the Colt 45's have something cooking here pretty early. Taking a look at who's batting second, that would be Carroll, the shortstop for the Colt 45's. So after a leadoff triple, Sawyer gets back on the mound looking to reset. First pitch to Carroll is a fastball that gets him whiffing 0-1. The one pitch on the way. Challenges him with another heater. It's a hit over to Navad at third. He throws over to first. Good pick from Ethan Wood to get him out, and that keeps the runner at third base. So one out now, and Sawyer will most certainly take that. And here we go with the DH Mora batting for the 45's. First lefty for Sawyer to face here. First pitch on the way, high and outside, ball one. Mora digs back in, and he's ready for Sawyer's offering. Sawyer taking a peek over at the runner at third. On the way with a heater down low, and Mora swings through it 1-1. Pitch outside. That is 2-1. Infielders playing deep except for Luke Navad at third as Mora swings and misses through that one. Navad is definitely trying to cut that one off and not let it get too deep on him to have a chance to hold the runner at third, but everybody else is playing deep on the edge of the grass. 2-2 pitch on the way. Athletics think that's a strike. Ump says no. Count goes full. We'll see what Sora goes with here on a full count. Challengers in with a fastball. It's shot up the middle past George Smith. And here comes Rogowski. He will score. So the leadoff batter with a leadoff triple gets cashed in on an RBI single from Mora, and it is 1-0 Reading Colt 45's. All right, so that'll bring up the cleanup hitter. It's first baseman Smith as he takes called strike one. Oh, 1 pitch called strike, looked to be on the outside portion of the plate. So Smith quickly in an 0-2 count here. We'll keep an eye on Mora to see if he has plans of swiping a bag. 0-2 pitch on the way. It is off speed. That is fouled out of play down the third base side. Count remains 0-2. Sawyer taking a peek over at first. Pitch on the way. This one is fouled off once again, and Mora made it look like he was going to go for second, but pushed on the brakes there. Sawyer's pitch misses outside. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch looked to be a slider. Good location on that one, and the Athletics let him know it too, but umpire says it's a ball, so count evens up 2-2. Pitch on the way is hammered out to center field, but looks like he might have gotten under it on the run, and it is dropped. It is dropped. Smith is into second base. There goes Mora to third. So playing in his first game, Tyson Miller for the Athletics. First play that he sees is a fly ball that he has to run backwards on, but ends up dropping it. So that'll be an error charged to him. And now there are runners on second and third. Sawyer fires off speed. First pitch called strike to the new batter, Green. He is at second base for the Colt 45's. Sawyer tries to paint the low and outside corner, but doesn't quite catch it. 1-1. One out here. The Colt 45's are threatening to cash in some more runs here early in this ball game. 1-1 pitch swung on, foul tip into Hayes Eden's glove. 1-2. Conventional double play is off the table here as this one's hit down the third base side, out of play, foul. But conventional double play is out of the rule of possibility for the Athletics here, so good chance for the Colt 45's. Any ball put in play could result in a run. So after that foul ball, count is still 1-2. Sawyer sets, fires, misses outside, 2-2. Pitch on the way. It is hit out to left field. Does Mikey Ramirez have a play on it? He slides and snags it. Great play from him. That great play from Mikey Ramirez obviously cashes an out, but might have just saved one run, maybe even two there. Great play from him. 2 outs now for the Reading Colt 45's here in the top of the first inning. Catcher for Reading is Handy. He is coming up right now in the box. 2 outs now. Base runners still on second and third. First pitch from Sawyer misses 1-0. One 0 pitch is off speed. That misses low. 2-0. So a pitch on the way is in the dirt. Good block from Edens to prevent any run from scoring. But now it is 3-0 to Handy. Great position for a hitter here to potentially cash in some runs, especially with a 2-out situation. And this one's right down the middle, but he pops it up. Sanders is on the run out to the outfield, but Tyson Miller calls him off, makes the run on the ball, and catches it, so that will be the end of this inning. But Reading Colt 45's get a run early on the board with 3 hits in the first inning. And it is now 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the first. All right, we're back with the bottom of the first. A's down early, 1-0. And leadoff hitter is shortstop George Smith. Usual suspects filling out the top of the lineup here for the Athletics. George Smith leading off. Ethan Wood is on deck. He's the first baseman. On the mound for the Colt 45's, it is Bennett. And taking a look at his warm-ups, he's got himself a heck of a curveball. We'll see when that may make an appearance today. First pitch to George Smith looked to be a two-seamer called strike on the outside part of the plate. Second pitch is grounded down the third base line. That's a fair ball. There goes George Smith. Never mind, he's going to put on the brakes real quick and head back to first, but that is a leadoff single for the Athletics, and George Smith keeps that bat hot. The first baseman, so here we go. Ethan Wood coming up to plate, the second batter of this inning, and in the lineup, back-to-back Regis University products. First pitch to him is low and inside, taken for ball one. Lefty gets set, taking a look at George Smith. Comes home to Wood, takes it low and outside once again, 2-0. So we mentioned George Smith is swinging a hot bat. He's batting 338, but Ethan Wood as well, 333. And he is definitely the RBI leader on this team with 12. 2-0 count to him, taken inside, 3-0. Three-zero pitch from Bennett. It's taken low and outside. That is a 4-pitch walk for Ethan Wood. And the Athletics got something cooking already in the first inning. Runners on first and second now. So that'll bring up Hayes Edens, who will keep with the theme. Hot bat, batting .417 in 3 starts. One of 2 hitters on this team that does have a home run, the other one being George Smith at second base. Pitch taken for a strike by Edens. That was looked to be a bit low and outside, but anyways, 0-1 is the count. Bennett's pitch is in there, strike 2. Heard a conversation with Coach Wyatt and the Reading Colt 45's coach earlier. It sounds like this will be a bullpen game for them, so we will see a lot of players on the mound. 0-2 pitch to Edens. We got a double steal. Catchy double clutches. He didn't know which base to go to, and it cost him as George Smith gets into third base and Ethan Wood to second. So double steal works out wonderfully for the Athletics, and they got 2 runners in scoring position now. Call on the pitch was a ball, so it's a 1-2 count to Edens. He's definitely shown that he likes these moments so far in his 3 games, as this one's ripped to the first baseman, who makes a great catch on it. It must have been a couple inches from the ground, and that was a quick snap decision from him to hit the deck and grab that ball. Great play from him, and the runners stay put. So here we go. That's the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Luke Navad, third baseman for the Athletics. And he has normally been the cleanup hitter for the Athletics this season. Taking a look so far at his year, he is batting .360. Very impressive numbers up and down the lineup here. First pitch to Navad is taken for a ball, 1-0. Pitch to Navad is taken on the outside strike. 1-1. Taking a further look at Navad's stats, he has 5 RBIs on the season, and I'm certain he'd like to add a couple more here right now. Curveball is called a ball. There's that big dropping curveball I was just talking about. It's 2-1 count here to Navad. Bennett's pitch on the way, and Navad pops this way up and out of play into the first base side stands. 2-2. 2-2 pitch popped up in the middle infield. Second baseman says he's got it. He does. And there is 2 outs in this inning now. So with 2 down, digs in Mikey Ramirez, the left fielder. Last week, he had a big help in sparking the comeback for the Athletics against the Menlo Park Legends. He had 4 RBIs within the first 3 innings as the Athletics found themselves down 5 and stormed back, winning 12-8. First pitch to Mikey is a curveball that doesn't drop back into the zone. 1-0. Second pitch to Mikey is hit to the shortstop, who grabs it, throws it over to first, and gets Mikey Ramirez out just in time. So runners on second and third with no outs to start out this inning for the Athletics, but they come up empty, and they go to the top of the second, down by 1 run. Second inning, Sawyer's first pitch misses down in the dirt, ball 1. Second pitch is taken for a strike, 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Wasn't necessarily a bad inning on the bump for Jared Sawyer. Last inning, as Ethan Wood is trying to track this one down, Brian Sanders is running after it, and it falls into fair play, and it is going all the way out into right field. And that is going to be yet another leadoff triple unless that was ruled an error. Either way, that is back-to-back leadoff batters getting to third base, which is certainly something you don't see every day. Yep, that will be an error charge to Brian Sanders. I was just going to mention, though, Jared Sawyer didn't necessarily have a bad inning on the bump, but would definitely like to cut down the amount of batters that he faces. Faced 6 batters last inning, but not off to a good start for that goal, as he already has one runner 90 feet away from home. First pitch was swung on and missed, 0-1 to Likens, the right fielder. Second pitch is hammered to George Smith over at short. He's going to throw it over to first base. That is an out, but it does cash in the runner. So another run in for the Colt 45's. They are up 2-0 on that sack roundout. Sawyer drops in a curveball in the zone for a strike, 0-1. And it is the 9-hole hitter, third baseman, Manduano. He swings and misses at that one. Sounded like he got a piece of it into Eden's glove, 0-2. That 0-2 pitch is way up high, 1-2. Sawyer misses in the same spot again. That time looked like with a 2-seam fastball. Count evens up 2-2. 2-2 pitch on the way. Looked to be a slider that misses in the dirt low and outside. Count fills up 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way, and it is an emergency hack that goes foul into the first base seats. Back with the 3-2, and this one is sent back to the first base seats. Nice catch from a fan on the bounce from one of the seats. Sawyer coming back with his third 3-2 pitch. This time gets a swing and a miss. That's the first strikeout for him in this ball game, and that is 2 down in this inning. So we rotate to the top of the lineup. Leadoff hitter Rogowski, sorry. Anyways, last inning, he was the one that got all the scoring started. He had himself a leadoff triple and scored the first run. As he chops this one over to Luke Navad at third, and he cannot get that. George Smith is there to back up so it doesn't roll into left field, but that is going to be first base for Rogowski. Certainly was a tough play to make on that one, but there's some plays that could have been had early in this ball game in the first inning and the second inning that is costing the Athletics right now. So now with 2 down, there's a runner on first, and Carroll, the shortstop, is up. First pitch is off the plate. Ball 1. Edens throws it down to first base. It gets past Ethan Wood, bounced in front of him, bounced towards the dugout. He scoops it up, but Rogowski takes second base. Sawyer's having a bit of a rough start here on the mound, but he's not necessarily getting the best help there out on the field. Anyways, he resets, looks at the second baseman, comes home. That pitch misses outside. 2-0 the count now to Carroll. Sanders doing a little pump fake over there, acting like he's going to go to the bag for a pickoff move, but Sawyer comes home and blows one by Carroll. 2-1. Pitch on the way from Sawyer's down in the dirt. 3-1. Hitters count here for Carroll. Sawyer comes home. That one misses low. He can't believe it. Ball 4. Carroll takes first base. Runners on first and second now with 2 down. And that'll rotate us back to the DH in a 3-hole Mora. He had a single last inning. First pitch to him is inside, fouled off. 0-1. On deck batter snags the foul ball, goes back to the on deck circle. And Sawyer sets, comes home. Ball in the dirt, good. Blocked by Edens at the plate to keep those runners at first and second. 1-1 is the count. Oops. This one's hammered out to right center field. On the dive, did he get it? He did not. Tyson Miller made a great effort at that, trying to stab at that ball and keep it from dropping in, but it drops in, and that cashes in 2 runs for the Colt 45's. So that is a 2 RBI double for Mora, and now the Colt 45's find themselves up 4-0. First pitch by Sawyer is a ball to the new batter, Smith. 1-0. Second pitch misses high and outside. 2-0. Taking a look at the Athletics bullpen, there is somebody at the very least playing catch right now. Just staying loose, staying warm. We'll keep an eye down there. Sawyer's 2-0 pitch on the way. It's popped up down the third base side, but it is out of play. 2-1. Smith chops at this one foul towards the on-deck batter. 2-2. Blows it by Smith. That is a strikeout, and that is the end of this inning. So 6 batters in the first inning for the Reading Colt 45's, but failed to cash in 2 base runners. This time, they certainly cashed them in with 3 runs in the top of the second. So the Reading Colt 45's are up big early, 4-0, as we go to the bottom of the second. All right, here we go with the bottom of the second for the Athletics with some work to do early as they find themselves down 4-0. Parker Cristall, the DH, is first to bat in this inning. First pitch to him, taken outside all the way, 1-0. Parker hasn't been an everyday starter for the Athletics, but when he has been in the lineup, he has been productive. And he takes a ball on that pitch, 2-0. Taking a quick look at Parker's number, he is batting .571 in 3 games of work, an insane 1.607 OPS in those appearances as he hits this one down. The first base line, is it going to be caught? No, right fielder made a good play on it, but it bounced off the screen. It is foul. But getting back to Parker's number, 750 on base percentage. So not only is he hitting, he is walking and has only struck out once so far this season. So after that foul ball, it is 2-1 now the count. Bennett's 2-1 pitch inside, 3-1. So speaking of Bennett, I know I mentioned that this was scheduled to be a bullpen game for the Colt 45's, and I do believe it still will be, but Bennett is out here for at least a second inning of work. His 3-1 pitch on the way outside, that is ball 4, and Parker Cristall continues getting on base this season. He walks and goes to first. That brings up the right fielder, Luke Reed. Ordinarily, we see him in center field, but one of the new additions to the Fresno Athletics, at least to the roster, active roster, Tyson Miller, is in center field today. First pitch to Reed, taken low and outside, ball 1. Taking a look at Reed's numbers, he has 200 batting average and 355 on base percentage. 1-0 pitch. Luke Reed thought about going. He held up his swing, but it was a strike on the call anyways. Bennett comes home and Reed chops this one to the third baseman, who throws over to second, throws over to first. Fantastic play from the Colt 45's. That is a 5-4-3 double play, and that wipes out Parker on first base, on base in general, and clean slate here for Bennett on the mound, and this time with 2 outs. So here is one of the latest additions to the active roster. It is Brian Sanders II, teammates with Luke Nevada at Franklin Pierce University. And his first at bat with the Athletics this season starts with a curveball taken outside, ball 1. Tries to hold up his swing, but checks through it. That is a strike, 1-1. Sanders takes this one way up high, 2-1. Two on pitch, Sanders looked to be a 2-seamer, and it misses low and outside, 3-1. So favorable count for him in his first at bat of the season. Bennett's pitch taken outside, ball 4. So Sanders has himself a walk in his first at bat of the season, and that will get us to the 9-hole hitter, one of the other new active roster additions, Tyson Miller, the center fielder. Tyson Miller plays his collegiate ball just a couple hours down in the valley at CSU Bakersfield. First pitch of the season for him is taken strike, low and outside, 0-1. Second pitch is chopped foul. Looks to be out of play. Yes, it is. Quickly 0-2 to Miller. Awaiting on deck for the Athletics is their top of the lineup. That is shortstop George Smith in the on deck circle, hoping to get a chance to extend this inning. Bennett is set. Pitch on the way to Miller is chopped foul, back to the screen. Staying alive, 0-2. So after a brief delay, Bennett is set. Keep an eye on Sanders at first. He is choosing to stay. That is a good-looking curveball, but taken for a ball. Good discipline and good eye from Miller, because that certainly looked close. So 1-2 is the count to Miller now. As this pitch is on the way, he tried to check his swing. Did he check his swing? Looks like home plate umpire makes the call, says no. So 2-2. Tyson Miller chops this one foul. Once again, we'll do it again, 2-2. Speaking of check swings, if y'all remember the Menlo Park game last Saturday, that sparked one of the many entertaining and fascinating moments from that game, as there was a crazy sequence with if the batter checked his swing or not, and ball got thrown in the right field. Runners came in to score. Umpire said no, and Coach Featherson ended up getting ejected. And here's another potential check swing, but Miller holds up his swing, and he has battled back to a 3-2 count here. Looked really close to clipping his elbow, but ball missed the bat. Ball missed his elbow. It's called a ball. 3-2 the count now. With full count and 2 out, Sanders might be on the run. He is. This one slapped out towards left field. It drops in for a base hit. So Sanders and Miller in their first ABs of this season end up producing for the Athletics. Walk for Sanders. First, or not first, single for Miller. And there are runners on first and second with 2 outs. And as mentioned, the A's are back to the top of their lineup with the shortstop, George Smith, who has been incredibly productive for the Athletics to start this season. There is juice in the Athletics dugout right now with this little 2-out rally going on. They're on the edge of the dugout, waiting to see what happens next. First pitch to Smith is hit towards the third baseman, who makes a good scoop on it, throws it to second, and gets the out just barely. So the Athletics had a little bit of something they're cooking there with 2 outs, but Reading Colt 45's get out of it. No runs, and they go to the top of the third inning, still up 4-0.
Baseman in the center, Dylan Reed.
All right, folks, we're back with the top of the third inning. New pitching change to talk about. It is Nathan Camarillo on the mound. So Sawyer's day is done with just 2 innings, but some defensive miscues certainly did not help out his cause. First pitch from Curio is in there for a strike. Second pitch fouled off Eden's mask, 0-2. Batter for the Colt 45's leading off is the second baseman, Green. As Curio comes home with 0-2, challenges him down the pipe. It's fouled back to the screen. We will keep it 0-2. Green digs back into the box. Curio shakes off a couple signs. Agrees on this one. And here he comes with another 0-2 pitch in the dirt, swung and missed. And Green is hustling down to first base, but it will be futile as Edens throws him out at first base. So first batter for Curio in this inning results in a strikeout. Good start to his outing. So with one out, we go to the catcher, Handy, digging into the plate. First pitch for Curio spiked at home plate. Good block from Edens, 1-0. And this is something I've heard from Curio so far in his couple of appearances. When he's bringing it, he's bringing it. You can hear him grunting when he's releasing that ball. His second pitch looked to be a curveball that misses low in the dirt, 2-0. Well, after a couple shakeoffs, Curio has the pitch he likes on the way. Challenges him with some heat. Foul to the screen, 2-1. Very interesting to see. Curio was set on the mound way before Handy had dug into the batter's box after that foul ball. That pitch is chopped towards the third baseman, but goes foul. Nice play by the third base coach, 2-2. Looked to be a curveball, fouled towards the first base side, up into the second deck. We'll do it again on the even count, 2-2. Another off-speed pitch, and Handy just gets a piece of it, goes back to the screen, keeps the count 2-2. Handy staying alive and up in that pitch count for Curio in this at-bat. As Curio winds up 2-2, challenges him down low with some heat, and once again, staying alive, chop foul. Big shoulder shrug and sigh from Curio as he comes home with another 2-2, spikes a fastball in the dirt. Count fills up 3-2. Curio's payoff pitch down the pipe, and he got him. He's pumped up. Athletics dugout loves it too. Back-to-back strikeouts for him with 2 down now in the inning. First pitch in for a strike. Thought about swinging, but held up that bat easily, missed inside and low. 1-1. Blast a heater on the outside part of the zone. That is a strike. 1-2. Curio quickly agrees with the call from the catcher. Blows another one by him. 1-2-3 inning for Curio. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Fantastic from him on the mound. And the Athletics are out of the top of the third. So fantastic outing for Curio so far as he gets 3 strikeouts and 3 batters. And it will remain 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. All right, back with the bottom of the third. It is Ethan Wood leading things off for the Athletics. His first at bat, he walked as he swings through this first pitch, 0-1. Oh, 1 to Wood is off speed. That's taken for a strike. 0-2. Bennett is back on the mound for the Colt 45s for his third inning of action. That one's way inside. Ethan Wood might have been able to fill the air on that one as it whizzed by his belt line. 1-2. Wood swings and misses on that one. Looked to be a little late. Strikeout for Bennett. Out number 1 of this inning. Here comes Hayes Edens, the catcher for the Athletics. He's 0-1 so far to start out his day. Curveball curves just a little bit too much in and low. 1-0. Fastball down and away, 2-0 to Edens. Definitely feeling a lot nicer here in the ballpark. More shade and the sun getting lower. As this one's blasted up the middle, base hit for Edens. He's certainly feeling it to start out this season. Another base hit for him and a base runner for the Athletics in the bottom of the third. But just get back to my point, it is a very comfortable evening. Yeah, the air temp is warm, but we are in the shade and it is feeling pretty nice here. So here comes Luke Navad, the third baseman for the Athletics. Last time he was up was unable to cash in. Runners on second and third. First pitch to Navad is off speed, looked like a slider that slid into the strike zone, 0-1. Mikey Ramirez is on deck for the Athletics as Bennett takes a peek over at Edens at first, comes home with a curveball that is in the dirt. Good block by the catcher, 1-1. One on the way. Two-seamer misses outside. 2-1. Bennett comes home in the dirt. Another good block by the catcher, Handy, who tries to back pick over at first base, but Edens gets back in time. So hitters count for Navad, 3-1 here, looking to get some action going here for the Athletics. They've had multiple base runners in the first and second inning, but have not been able to cash them in. Already 4 runners left on base for the Athletics. As this one's blasted to right center field, it's going to drop in for an extra base hit for sure. Here comes Edens around third. He's going home. Nevada's thinking third as we watch Hayes Edens score. And we'll take a look at Luke Navad sliding into third base. How about that? RBI triple for Luke Navad. Fantastic piece of hitting there. And that is 1 run for the Athletics here as they get back in this ball game. Good timing from Nevada as I was talking about runners being left on base, but he cashes in Edens there, and he is 90 feet away from himself scoring. All right, well, after that RBI triple, that is the day for Bennett. He is coming off the mound, new pitcher coming in, and we'll let you know who it is when we come back after warm-ups. We're back with the first pitch of this inning, called strike to Mikey Ramirez. New pitcher on the mound is number 29, Daniel Osteo. Second pitch to Mikey, taken inside for a ball, 1-1. He'll just be looking for anything to put in play here to cash in the VOD and cut that deficit to 2. This one's chopped, foul. 1-2 will be the count to Ramirez now. One-two pitch from the righty on the way. Mikey hits this one, this time foul, towards first base side. So third base last time, first base this time, and we'll just go ahead and guess that he's going to shoot this one up the middle, but who knows? We'll find out. 1-2 is the count. The Athletics certainly hope so. One-two pitch outside, looked to be a slider. 2-2, count evens up. On deck better is Parker Crystal, who got on base last time with a walk. Mikey Ramirez swings and misses through that one. Nice slider, gets him going, and that is a strikeout for him and 2 outs in this ball game. Looked like he was passing on some intel there to Parker Crystal as he comes up. So here comes Parker Crystal with 2 outs. Last time he was up, he walked. First pitch to him, taken inside, called strike. That definitely looked to be a fringe call, but either way, it is 0-1. Second pitch to Crystal is blasted out to left field. That's going to be a base hit and an RBI for him. Navad jogs in smoothly to score. And it is now 4-2, Colts, 45's. Excellent piece of hitting there from Parker Crystal, and his great start to the season continues with an RBI single right there. New batter at the plate is Luke Ree. He takes strike 1. Last time up, he grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. And this time he takes a slider outside, 1-1. One pitch on the way to Ree is hit down the third base side, but just foul. Looked to be really darn close to going fair, but we certainly would have known it if it bounced off the bag, but just to the left, foul ball, 1-2. One-two pitch, curveball yanked outside. Good stop by the catcher. Parker Crystal stays at first, 2-2. Pitch on the way, another slider. This one gets away from the catcher. Parker's going to have Second base easily takes a healthy run off of second base, thinking about 3, but he'll stay put at second. So after that ball getting to the backstop, Reed will dig in with a full count. Another good opportunity for the A's to cash in another run here to get back into this ball game. And the pitcher steps off there, just taking a breather. Not too sure if it was nerves or just a little bit of confusion on the signs getting called from the catcher. No confusion this time. He gets his sign and he gets set. Coming home 3-2. That's popped up by Luke Reed. Catcher's making a run on it. So is the first baseman. Who's going to have it? It's the first baseman calling off the catcher. He catches it. That is the end of this inning, but a productive one for the Athletics. They cash in 2 runs, cutting their deficit in half. So we rotate to the top of the 4th inning, 4-2, Colt 45's. Back with the top of the 4th inning, Nathan Curio still on the mound. His first pitch swung on and missed. Second pitch challenges him up high and inside in the zone. Fouled off quickly 0-2 to the leadoff batter, right fielder Likens. 0-2 pitch on the way from Carrillo. Down and inside, hit out to left field. Base hit. Mikey Ramirez quickly gets it into George Smith, so it's only a single. So leadoff single for Likens there. That is 3 out of 4 innings that the Reading Colt 45's have gotten the leadoff batter on base. And in both of those previous instances, they did end up scoring. 9-hole hitter Manduano up for the Reading Colt 45's third baseman. His first time up, he struck out. Rio comes home with a breaking ball that 5 holes Edens, goes to the backstop. Likens gets to second base, takes a healthy lead off of second base, but will come back in to second. So 1-0 here, the count to Manduano. Curio working from the stretch now, taking a couple peeks over at Likens. Here he comes with 1-0, chopped up the middle. Anybody going to get it? Brian Sanders does. Throws it over to first. Gets through Ethan Wood. Here comes the runner home. He scores. So that looks to be an E4 on Sanders. Manduano stays at first base, and Likens comes around to score from second on that errant throw. Trend continues for the Colt 45's leadoff batter, getting on base and scoring. And it's now 5-2, Colt 45. Still no outs in this inning. Top of the lineup with Rogowski up to bat now. First pitch to him is taken for a ball. That one swung on and missed, 1-1. One pitch on the way, shows bunt, pulls it back, ball high, 2-1. We haven't seen too much small ball so far to start the year, but we'll see if Rogowski decides to lay down a bunt here. Looks like he bluffed on the bunt, bluffed on it last time. Doesn't show this time. Fouls that one back. It is 2-2. Duano increases his lead just ever so slightly. Has a bit of happy feet over there. Pitch on the way in the dirt. Edens with the good block. Had trouble finding it a little bit, but Manduano stays at first. Count fills up 3-2 to Rogowski. Curio gets set. Not even looking at the base runner. Comes home to Rogowski, who hits this down the right field line. Yeah, is there a play on it? Luke Ree with a great diving effort, but he cannot get it. Foul ball. Looks to be okay on that slide. Going back to right field. So after that long break, chasing that foul ball, 3-2. Once again, the count. Here comes Curio, and that was an emergency hack for sure from Rogowski, but it pays off for him. Foul ball back to the screen. Definitely seemed to be looking off speed there, but Curio surprised him with the fastball, so he just stuck that bat out there to keep the count alive. Another pitch from Curio. This one's hit up the middle. Miller is under that one. Looked like he was shifted a little bit towards that right center gap, and it pays off. That was a good, solid contact from Rogowski off the bat, but right to Miller's glove. One out now in the inning. So with one out, we go to the shortstop, Carroll, up to bat. He grounded out to third his first time up and second time up, got on base and scored a run. First pitch on the way. Edens blocks this one in the dirt, but lost sight of it. And that is easily going to be second base for Manduano. Edens has had to get dirty in this inning, blocking a few pitches in the dirt. That one he did a good job of blocking, but just lost sight of it, and that was easy second base for Manduano. So 1-0 count off of that pitch, taking a couple of glances at second base. Coming home, down the pipe, 1-1. Challenges him down the pipe once again. This time, Carroll takes a look and watches it go by, 1-2. Curio with a long pause on the mound, taking a couple glances at the base runner at second. Yanks this one down in the dirt. Good scoop up by Hayes Edens. Count evens up 2-2. Definitely looks like Curio has some good stuff working for him today, but when he's missing, he is missing low, and that is keeping Edens busy behind the dish. Two and two pitch on the way, challenges him right down the pipe once again. This one fouled back. Count will remain 2-2. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Strikeout of Carroll. Fourth strikeout for Curio in this game. Two outs now. Runner will remain on second. And the DH, Mora, is now up to bat. He has himself 2 hits in this game, a single and a double, and that double he cashed in 2 RBIs. First pitch of this new at-bat, yanked down in the dirt, 1-0. Curio up in the zone, maybe a little outside. That is a called strike. He certainly has a long set before he comes home. Looks to be a bit methodical with his pitching. He gets set here. George Smith pump thinking that he's going to go cover the bag at second. Curio comes home, ball down in the dirt, 2-1. This one is chopped back to Curio. He scoops it up, throws it over to first base, more like tosses it. Either way, that is out number 3. And out of this inning with only 1 run scored for the Colt 45's, but they do increase their lead back to 3. It is 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. All right, we're back with the bottom of the fourth inning. Leading off for the Athletics is Brian Sanders II. And this one is hit out to left field, but falls short. That one is caught at the warning track. Athletics dugout was jumping on that one, thinking it had a chance to get out of here, but that will be the first out of this inning.
Now, number 4, Miller.
So after that long out, that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Tyson Miller, who does have a single in this game. First pitch called, strike to Miller. He got himself into an 0-2 hole in the last at-bat, dug out of it, and muscled out a good single. He hits this one to the shortstop, who scoops it up, throws it over to first, but the throw is offline, and he is going to be in there. So that will likely be an error charge to the shortstop, but that is 2 at-bats and 2 appearances on base for Tyson Miller. And just like that, we're back at the top of the lineup. Here comes the shortstop, George Smith. He led off things with a base hit in the first inning, grounded out to short in the second. First pitch to George is in there for a low strike, 0-1. Certainly good location with that one for the pitcher. Second pitch targets low again and gets the call. Quickly 0-2.
Walk a spot. Keep that good feeling.
The 0-2 pitch to Smith. Foul behind the Athletics dugout. We'll do it again on 0-2. Pitcher comes set. Quickly comes home. Miller's on the move, and that one is bounced right at me. Foul ball. That one actually hit my table, folks, and I felt the vibration of that. So Smith keeps it alive. That's 0-2. And I sure wonder what that looked like on the camera angle. That must have looked pretty dang cool. 0-2 pitch is a 2-seamer hit out to right field. It's going to get past the right fielder. That's extra base hits for George Smith. Miller's coming around third. He's heading home. He's in there safe, and that is a RBI double for George Smith as he continues to be hitting the ball so well for the Athletics, coming up clutch. I think Miller would have been into home plate safe anyways if he wasn't on the move with a steal, but that certainly helped out his cause, scoring all the way from first base. So Athletics in business here once again. They certainly have not had issues with getting base runners on today, but cashing them in is a bit of a different story. But Ethan Wood is up to bat now with George Smith in scoring position. And George Smith is already on the way. There he goes down to third. Ball gets by the third baseman. He thinks about going home, but he thinks wiser to it and gets back. So look at that. First pitch of Ethan Wood's at bat. George Smith is on the move, steals a base, and is 90 feet away from scoring. call on the pitch was a ball, so 1-0 count to Wood. This pitch is on the way, and this one is down 2-0. Wood takes this one, looked to be a slider. Must have just missed low, 3-0. Three-0 pitch on the way, 4-pitch walk for Ethan Wood. There he goes to first base. So with one out, there's runners on the corner. George Smith at third, Ethan Wood at first, and Hayes Edens, the catcher, coming up. Last time he was up, he had a single. Well, with second base vacated, we'll see if Ethan Wood decides to try and swipe second and make the catcher decide whether to throw down or not. First pitch to Eden swung on and missed, 0-1. This one is popped up in foul territory. It is going to escape the first baseman out of play.
Kid. Your guy.
Oh, and 2 is now the count to Edens. As the pitcher gets set. On the way, slider misses outside, 1-2. Certainly good movement on that pitch, but just started out too far outside for Edens to think about biting on. Two-seamer runs up in on Edens. Throw over to second base, gets Wood, but Edens is safe at first. So what could have been a potentially inning-ending double play turns into another run for the Athletics. George Smith comes in to score, and the Athletics are only down by 1. That was committed by George Smith as he ran on a ground ball to the third baseman. But it was a wise move by him, scoring and making this a 1-run ball game. Slider misses low to Luke Navad, ball 1. And last time Navad was up, he got the party going with a RBI triple to the right center gap. 1-0 pitch to Navad, swung on, fouled in between the catcher's leg, right back to me, 1-1. One pitch to Navad, taken for a strike. 1-2. He grimaced a little bit on that one, having a chat with the umpire. I do not believe that was on the call. It was more so like, darn, I could have swung at that one. Either way, 1-2 is the count. Pitch Navad, taken down, low ball. That was a good slider there, but just missed low. Navad digs back in, excuse me, with a 2-2 count. Pitch to him, chopped, foul down the third base side. Two-two pitch on the way. Navad off jam shot off the inside of his bat. Second baseman has to wait on it. Fields it on the hop, throws it over to first base. Navad is retired, and that is the inning for the Athletics. But they do grab 2 more runs back-to-back 2-run innings for them, and they are clawing back in this one. It is 5-4. Colt 45's as we enter the top of the 5th. Top of the 5th inning, and we are back with Nathan Camarillo still on the mound. First pitch called strike, as it is a beautiful evening here with the golden hour right now. Second pitch hit down the left field line. We got a couple of A's on the charge for it, but it bounces foul in bullpen territory. Anyways, just talking about the golden hour, just got this view here from the first base side. Unfortunately, doesn't do it justice, but that golden color on the buildings of the setting sun certainly does look nice and is a great feature to this evening game for the Athletics and the Colt 45's. Getting back to the game, 0-2 pitch for Curio on the way is hit toward Sanders. It bounces over his glove, base hit. He certainly made the diving effort at that one, had the glove where it needed to be, but just bounced over his glove. So yet another leadoff single here for the Colt 45's. That was a leadoff base hit for Smith, the first baseman, and coming up is the second baseman, Green. Well, looks like that was a balk. I was taking a look down at my scorecard there for a second, and I just saw the runner going to second. Looks like Carrillo balked there, so runner's at second now, and he fires low and inside on a fastball. 1-0. Oh no, pitch high and inside 2-0. Two 0 pitch from Curio on the way, swung on, foul tip into Eden's glove. 2-1. Two-one pitch from Curio. Check swing doesn't matter. That is a strike call on the pitch. 2-2. Count evens up. Oh, this one goes off the top of Eden's glove and advancing to third easily is the runner Smith. That looked to be a curveball that got away from Carrillo, curveball or slider for that matter, but got away from him and crossed up Eden's, and he just couldn't quite catch it and bounced off the top of his glove. So with that pitch, it is a full count now. Smith on third. Here's the payoff pitch to Green. He chops this one to Ethan Wood at first. He's going to touch up first base, and that keeps Smith at third. A's are very thankful for that out. Conventionally, with a ball hit on the right side of the field, there's a good chance you'd see that runner from third coming home, but he stays put, and that keeps a goose egg on the board for now for the Athletics defensively. One out here going to Handy, the catcher. First pitch from Carrillo jams him inside, fouled back to the screen, 0-1. Carrillo takes time to reset behind the mound. Has the ball in hand now in the stretch, looking for signs from Edens. Quickly agrees on one. Fidgeting with his glove a little bit, comes home with the pitch. That was off speed, that hung up high and didn't quite break down into the zone. 1-1. Pitch, curveball in there for a strike, 1-2. Action going on in the Fresno Athletics bullpen. It is a lefty, might be Whiteman, but can't quite tell from here. That was some heat that got inside on Handy, taken for a ball. Two-two pitch, curveball, foul back into the stands. Two-two pitch again, up high, 3-2. Full count here. Curio sets for the payoff pitch. Comes down the hill, hit towards the third baseman, Navad. He comes home with the throw, tags out the lead runner. Fantastic play from Luke Navad. Quick thinking to throw him out at home. Good tag from Hayes Edens. Fantastic play all around from the Athletics to keep this score 5-4.
Boys.
Got it. Well, that was gutsy from the runner from third base to try and go home on that one, and it did not pay off. Luke Navad with a great defensive play. So 2 down now. That is a fielder's choice for Handy. He is at first base. But the Athletics will certainly take a runner at first instead of third. This one is chopped to Navad on the run in the air, throws it to Ethan Wood, and that is the end of the inning. Back-to-back nice plays for Luke Navad. Gets the Athletics out of this inning, and more stranded base runners for the Reading Colt 45's. Goose egg on the board. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is still 5-4 as the Athletics look to take their first lead of the game. Here we go with the bottom of the 5th inning. We are halfway through this game 1 of 2 for this 2-game series against the Reading Colt 45's. Mikey Ramirez digging in, leading off here for the Athletics as they are down 1. First pitch to him is a slider called strike. Mikey has grounded to shortstop and has struck out so far today. That one looked like it might have been a slider, had a bit of movement on it, but just released perhaps a bit too early. Ran away from him up high in the zone, ball 1. Pitch on the 1-1 count is a heater that is low, but just a little too low, 2-1. Definitely looks like he has been targeting that portion of the plate. Some calls yes, some calls no. Mikey hits this one out to left center field. That's a base hit. And he's thinking 2. No, he slams on the brakes, gets back into first. but that is a leadoff single for Mikey Ramirez. And once again, the Athletics dugout is feeling it as they are clawing back in this one.
It's a ground ball.
So here we go with Parker Cristall batting sixth in the lineup today and the DH. As I mentioned earlier in this game, his on base percentage has been outrageous, and it still is, as he's 2 for 2 getting on base today with a walk and a RBI single. First pitch hits Parker, and he has first base. And just as I was talking about his knack for getting on base, he gets on base, his third base of the day, and quickly runners on first and second for the Athletics with no outs in the bottom of the fifth. Here comes Luke Ree up to the plate. He is 0 for 2 today, grounding in a double play and popping out to the first baseman. He shows a bunt and puts down a beauty of a bunt to the third baseman. He throws it over to the first baseman. It goes by. It goes by. Here comes Mikey Ramirez. He's in to score. Parker Cristall into third. Luke Reed into second. Fantastic small ball from the Athletics there. It was a great bunt. He might have been safe either way if that ball was thrown well, but the third baseman threw it away, and the Athletics had tied this ball game up. So the Colt 45's are going to have a little conference on the mound here after that exciting sequence. 3 base runners on with 3 batters. Let's recycle that. 3 batters, 3 base runners for the Athletics in this inning, and now we are sitting with runners on second and third and no outs, and the coach is going to dismiss the current pitcher for this inning, and in comes a new one. So we will get you the number and the player when we come back after warmups. There we go. Looked like a little bit of audio trouble there for a second. But anyways, we are back with the new pitcher, Sywell, on the mound. His first pitch is a strike to Brian Sanders II. Second pitch in there, two-seamer low, 1-1. So Sanders has walked today, as it also flew out to left field. Bit of a rough day for him fielding thus far, but if there was a moment for him to, I reckon, pay it back, it would be right now. One count to him. Two seamers swung on and missed. 1-2 the count now to Sanders. Pitchers count here with Sanders at bat, but certainly good situation for the Athletics to cash in some runs here with no outs and two runners in scoring position. 1-2 pitch on the way, slider in the dirt, good, blocked by the catcher Handy. So runners stay put. Count evens up 2-2. Pitch on the way from Sywell. That was some wicked movement on the two-seamer, but it misses for a ball. Wowzers, the tail on that pitch was mighty impressive, folks. Sywell quickly gets set, fires, misses outside. You can see him shout. Not happy with himself for missing the zone on that one. That is a walk for Brian Sanders, and here comes Tyson Miller, the center fielder. Tyson Miller has singled today and also reached on an error from the shortstop. He scored in that instance in the fourth inning. Huge opportunity here for him. Takes a ball outside and low 1-0. Athletics dugout definitely has some juice in it right now. They're excited for the potential opportunity. Coach for the Reading Colt 45's out to the mound. Looks like just trying to quickly settle down the pitcher. Not too sure, but either way, it was a very brief and quick conference. He's jogging off the field, and Miller is going to dig back in with a 1-0 count. Well, no count. Looked like a two-seamer that ran in, rather. Almost hit Miller, but that is ball 2-0. Cyril sets, fires, and this one is hit down to the first base line. That's a base hit for Miller. Here comes Parker Kristoff. Here comes Luke Reed. That's 2-run RBI single for Tyson Miller. Have a day in your first game with the Athletics. Brian Sanders is over at third base, and the Athletics have taken their first lead of the game, and it is a 3-run lead. Dugout is hyped to the right of me, being the Athletics dugout. Super excited with this turnaround. 3 errors had buried them early with a 4-0 deficit, and they have called back 8-5 now for the Athletics. So runners on the corner here, still no out, and George Smith showing a butt, but this is a wild pitch that gets by the pitcher. There comes Sanders, he scores. Into second base goes Miller, and it is now 9-5 Athletics. Now I believe it's 8-5. I'll correct that score. Sorry, gentlemen, or sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Either way, Athletics have scored 4 runs here in this inning. Yeah, 8-5 will be the correct score. Miller's in at second after that wild pitch. Strike on that pitch called a strike. Call on that pitch is a strike. I am discombobulated right now. Anyways, we'll reset 1-1 count for George Smith. He showed bunt on that first pitch, and the pitcher just absolutely yanked it to the backstop. Yanks this one as well, but good stop by the catcher, 2-1. As a reminder, still no outs in this inning. 5 straight runners have, or 5 straight batters have reached base. Pickoff move back to second. Tyson Miller's in there easily. He is safe. George Smith back into the batter's box. Sywell fires on 2-1. Two-seamer misses low and outside. He looks a bit agitated on the mound with missing his spots. 3-1 in the count.
Go for it, kid.
Bit of encouragement from the stands coming for the pitcher. Sywell gets set, takes a peek over at Miller, comes home, gets a strike in there, full count, 3-2. Three-two pitch, low and outside, ball 4. George Smith will gladly take first base, and comes up Ethan Wood with runners on first and second. So 6 straight batters to start this inning, 6 base runners for the Athletics. Very impressive here. Still no outs and a fantastic opportunity to blow this game even wider open. There goes Miller to third. Ball gets away from the catcher. He's in there safely, and casually taking second base is George Smith. Aggressive base running from the Athletics is giving them even better opportunities to score some more runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So now we got runners on first and second, no outs, 1-0 count to Ethan Wood.
That's even here, kid.
Pitch on the way, Wood hits it. Line gets by the third baseman. Miller's in to score. George Smith thinking about it. He'll hold up. Whoa, that was a close play. George Smith was thinking about it, was coming back in. Throw went into the third baseman. He had his back turned around. Otherwise, he might have been able to tag George Smith out. But anyways, that is another run scored for the Athletics here. It is 9-5 Athletics. So taking a look at this inning, base hit, hit by pitch, error. This one's chopped foul. So base hit, hit by pitch, error, walk. Miller got a hit, I do believe. I didn't write it down. Apologies. Anyways, hit for Miller, walk for Smith, hit for Wood, and we stand here with Hayes Edens in the batter's box. Runners on the corners. 0-1 count to him. Pitch on the way, misses low, 1-1. Pitch to Edens, popped foul. Does the first baseman have a play? Answers no. It is a souvenir in the stands, 1-2. Sywell back on the rubber, looking at the sign, says yes. Took a quick look over at Ethan Wood at first. Comes home to Edens with the pitch. This one is foul. Back once again.
I can't get him here.
Back home with 1-2, and Hayes Edens is rung up on strike three. Hard two-seamer down in the zone, and he knew it. So finally, after 7 batters, that is the first out of this inning. And we are to the 9th batter of this inning. That is Luke Navad. Flashback to the 3rd inning. He was the one that got the scoring started with an RBI triple. He wouldn't mind doing that again. First pitch in there, strike 0-1 to Navad. Second pitch, Navad watches that one into the glove, lays off of a low pitch, 1-1. Pitch on the way, fouled, back to the screen. So 1-2 now, the count to Navad. With 2 strikes, he'll just be looking to put something in play here to scratch across another run in the form of George Smith over at third base. 1-2 pitch. Navad watches that into the glove. He's rung up on a slider. Oh, runner coming home here, and George Smith is easily out. Well, that is quite the interesting end to the inning. George Smith tried to catch the catcher and the pitcher by surprise while he was throwing it back to the pitcher, but to no avail. So quite an interesting double play there with a backwards K and then a 2-1-2 put out on the runner and George Smith coming home. But either way, Athletics put up a lot of runs in this inning, 5 of them to be in fact, and they storm back to take the lead in this game. They're up 4 now, 9-5, as we go to the top of the 6th. First pitch of this new inning, that being the top of the sixth, is fouled back. 0-1 is the count to Likens. Nathan Curio still on the mound for the Athletics. This will be his fourth inning of work. And he runs it inside to the batter. Check swing. Yes, he did, says the first base umpire. 0-2. The 2 pitch. Curio misses low, 1-2.
Yeah. Look
That is off-speed pitch that certainly slipped out of Carrillo's hands, missed high. Ball 2. A little bit of action going on in the bullpen once again. Looks to be the same lefty that was warming up earlier. As Curio strikes him out down the pipe. Looked like it could have been a changeup. So yet another strikeout for Curio. He's having himself a solid performance on the mound today. So with one out, it's the 9-hole hitter third baseman Manduano for the Colt 45's. As Carrillo's first pitch is a nasty curveball that is foul tip into the dirt. Well, go back to the same pitch if it keeps on working. 0-2 the count. Oh, 2 pitch on the way. Did he check his swing? Appeal to first. He says he held it up. 1-2 is the count now. That was some high heat from Carrillo right there, but missed up high. Count evens up 2-2. Another off-speed pitch. This one missing in, potentially low. Count fills up 3-2. Yeah, pitch for Carrillo on the way. That's some heat low and inside, taken for a ball. That's it. That's Carrillo's first walk of this game. And we rotate to the top of the lineup with Rogowski. First pitch of this new at-bat called strike high in the zone, 0-1. Carrillo taking his time, set, fires. A heater right down the pipe, 0-2. Curio has just surpassed the 70 pitch mark of this outing. It's definitely been out there for a while. Most likely his last inning of work today. Off speed, misses high. Athletics dugout thought that dropped in for strike 3, but umpire disagrees, 1-2. On a 2 count, we'll see if Curio is going to keep this low to maybe induce a double play. Pitch on the way, fastball fouled. Back behind home plate, 1-2. Pitch in the dirt, count evens up 2-2. This one's chopped past the third baseman, but foul. 2-2 once again. Manduano started going there, thinking about a stolen base, but he will retreat to first. Rogowski digs back in, 2-2 count. Curio set. Fires home. The fastball chopped towards Nevada, but it gets through the 5-6 hole. That's a base hit. So Colt 45's have something going here in the top of the 6th inning, certainly trying to respond after giving up 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th.
Out number 4, Art Anthony Carroll.
So with 1 out and runners on first and second, it is the shortstop Carroll up to bat. He is 1 for 3 today with a ground out to third base. He's also scored a run and has struck out. Here comes Coach Ethan out to the mound. We'll wait and see if this is going to be a pitching change or not. I would assume if his day was done, Coach Wyatt Featherson would be coming out. Might just be a little bit of a regroup here for Curio and the infield as runners are on first and second now. Conference is over. Position players going back to their spots. And coming in finally for his at-bat is Carroll. Showing bunt foul back behind the screen. 0-1. Carroll back into the batter's box after the failed bunt attempt. This one's ripped up the middle. That's going to be a base hit and probably a run for the Reading Colt 45's. Throw is into home, but Manduano beats it out and scores, as that is 1 run back for the Colt 45's in this inning. Score is now 9-6. All right, after that Carroll RBI single, Coach Wyatt Featherston is coming out, and that looks to be the end of Carrillo's day. But certainly ate up a good amount of innings for the Athletics. 3 1/3, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. He pats the pitcher on the back, wishing him good luck, and here he comes back with Coach Wyatt Featherston. Nice fist bump between the two, and it was earned. Solid outing there for Nathan Curio in relief. And I will let you know who the new pitcher is after warm-ups is done. All right, coming back to you after the brief warm-up for Dylan Whiteman, the new pitcher for the Fresno Athletics. Lefty on the mound. He is facing cleanup hitter Mora. Not cleanup, three-hole hitter Mora, excuse me. He's the DH. First pitch of Whiteman's outing is a ball, 1-0. Pitch on the way, yanked way outside. Good stop by Edens getting out to that one, so it wasn't a pass ball. Wild pitch, rather, excuse me. Either way, 2-0. Athletics would certainly like a double play ground ball here. Colt 45's would like Mora to deliver another RBI double. Whiteman steps off the mound, thinks about throwing over, but holds on for the ball. Whiteman sets on 2-0, pitch on the way down in the dirt. 3-0 count to Mora.
Not Dale.
Levad coming to Dylan Whiteman on the mound to perhaps calm the nerves, offer some advice, just calm his pitcher down. Three-0 count here for Mora, and he is certainly looking at his chops to try and scratch some more runs back for the Colt 45's here. 3-0 pitch on the way, yanked low and outside. That is a 4-pitch walk for Mora, and the bases are loaded for the Colt 45's here. Tying run is at first base with Mora, and the go-ahead runner is the batter at the plate. And that is the first baseman, Smith. First pitch challenges him up high in the zone, and he swings and misses. 0-1. Another one on the way, breaking ball that misses 1-1. One pitch up high. Smith was thinking about going around, saw a little twitch with the elbows, but laid off. 2-1. Another healthy swing and a miss for Smith. 2-2. Two-two pitch yanked down low and outside. Edens picks it off the ground. Full count here for the batter Smith. Nowhere for Whiteman to put him on base as the bases are loaded. Huge payoff pitch coming here. He misses again in the same spot. That's been a consistent spot for him to miss. So he walks Smith. In comes Rogowski to score, and the other runners just advance.
Deep breath, kid. Let's go. Not doubt.
So with that walk, that's the second run of the inning for the Colt 45's, and it makes it 9-7. Foul tip there for a strike to the batter, Green. Green has flew out to left field, struck out, and grounded to first base. Sweet movement on that curveball or slider from Whiteman, but misses for a ball. Quick time here as a ball from the Athletics bullpen rolls all the way here to home plate. Now umpire says resume play. Whiteman goes into his windup, throws, and that is called strike. 1-2. That was in the high part of the zone. Green didn't seem to like that call, but 1-2 is the count to him. Pitch on the way, misses. It gets to the backstop. Here's a play at home, and he is safe. He's in there. So Whiteman definitely missed his location there. Crossed up Edens, couldn't get it. Ball goes to the backstop. It was a close play at home, but that is an unforced error on the Athletics, and that is the danger of having runners on the bases. So Carroll scores on that one. Runners move up 90 feet. So runners on second and third, and yet another ball from the Athletics bullpen sneaks its way all the way behind home plate. So 9-8 is the score now. The possibility of a force out is now out of the question as this one's fouled back. Count is 2-2. Wyman's pitch is chopped foul. Green most certainly poked his bat out at that one just to get a piece of it and did a good job of doing that to keep this at-bat alive. This one's chopped to Luke Navad at third base. Never mind. It gets by him. Here comes one run for the Colt 45's. 2 runs in. And just like that, 2 RBI single for Green. And the Colt 45's are back in front in this ball game, 10-9. So just when the Athletics put up 5 in the bottom of the 5th, the Colt 45's put up 5 in the top of the 6th, and that is just at least 5 in this inning. Coach Wyatt Featherston has seen enough. He's coming out. Dylan Whiteman's coming out and doesn't record an out in his outing. New pitcher on the way. I'll be sure to let you know after warmups.